The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And a good morning to you. Welcome to a Friday.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, it is Friday, August number 18 in the year of our Lord 2017, which means it is basically open mic Friday. Just about anything goes. Keep it clean, please. The call-in number to talk about anything that is on your mind is 603-835-3226. Again, remember, we like to try to take things a little bit lighter on Friday as we slide on into the weekend to celebrate our increasing freedom. Unless, of course, you believe the news, which might have you thinking that we have too much freedom. Yeah, there are those that believe that we have too much freedom of thought, actually. So, anyway, welcome to you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. We continue to have this nonsense about monument removal. I mean, seriously, we got people talking about, well, maybe we should. You have so-called progressives. Again, you know what I think of progressives. They don't progress forward. They're actually trying to bring up the subject of removing the monuments in D.C. to George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. I kid you not. Yeah, let's take down the Washington Monument. Now the Lincoln Memorial was vandalized. And now Lincoln is a guy who went to war to free the slaves. And you have people now vandalizing Lincoln. And it's now, folks, it's not the so-called white supremacists that's doing this. I mean, think about it. I mean, they've had years and years and years and years to do that. And they haven't really done it. Now all of a sudden they're doing it. Oh, and by the way, the New Hampshire Republican Party headquarters here in Concord was vandalized last night. Somebody put the word Nazi inside a heart with a can of spray paint last night. Yes, it was discovered this morning. So all of this stuff just goes to show you. And there have been a lot of people, myself included, who have warned over the years that ill-educating our children was going to come back to bite us, including the left. Who was responsible for the ill education? You would think that they would have been taught. Well, I can understand why they didn't really teach in school really who George Washington was, or really teach what Thomas Jefferson did, okay, I can understand that on their agenda. But to all of a sudden now you have people who don't understand what Abraham Lincoln did, when you're all about this anti-white supremacist, anti-racism type of stuff, and these people don't even know who the great emancipator is and what he did? That's pretty bad. There is no excuse for that. If you're on the side, now this is why I say that the left is not who they say they are. Now, folks, hang with me for a second here on this one. This is about to get really serious. I know we like to make fun of these so-called progressives and these, the Antifa crowd and the Black Lives Matter crowd and all that kind of stuff. And they're supposedly standing up against, supposed white supremacists and white privilege and racism of all kinds. Folks, now for a second, let me be deadly clear. Let me be serious as a heart attack. These people are the true bigoted, racist homophobes. No joke. As I've always said, the racism has always come from the Democratic Party. These people are entrenched in the Democrat Party. They are the real racists. Now, let me be clear. If you are starting to destroy and possibly demand the removal of memorials that memorialize the man that is known in this country as the great emancipator, stopping and ending slavery as we knew it, then there's got to be a reason for it other than you want to celebrate his life as being the great emancipator. You dislike him because he got rid of slavery. You do not teach the truth about this man because you are a true racist. Understand, this stuff is coming from the left, not the right. And when Donald Trump said there is bad people on both sides, there's violence on both sides, you have got, I am so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed as an American to see all those supposed wonderful journalists in the lamestream media lose their minds and constantly ask every time they talk to somebody, do you renounce? Yes, we renounce the KKK. We've always renounced the KKK on the right. Always. It's you on the left who's never renounced it. Why don't you renounce Antifa? The reason why they won't is because they back them, folks. They back them. Robert Byrd is not the only Senate and Congress congressional KKK member the Democrats have ever had. But they, in order to try to hide their own shame, they always point out David Duke. David Duke didn't win an election, and he sure as hell didn't get support from the Republicans. The Republicans as a party and as a group and as a whole turned their back on David Duke. The only reason why the left doesn't like David Duke is because he's come out as a Republican instead of a Democrat. If he was more like Robert Byrd, he'd be loved. Are we not going to get rid of all of the stuff that was named after Robert Byrd in the Virginias? In the North Carolina? There's plenty of, there are schools. There are memorials to Robert Byrd all over the place. I think there's even a highway, the Robert Byrd Memorial Highway. We're going to get rid of that? I don't see anybody in Antifa. I don't see anybody in the left. I don't see the ACLU hammering, trying to get rid of anything named after Robert Byrd. Where is the outrage for Byrd, who was an actual KKK member, who was an actual Grand Cyclops, Ku Klux Klops, whatever the hell they call those people, who was an actual recruiter and admitted to recruiting more than 150 people to the KKK. So what do we get instead? We get at his funeral a few years ago, about 7 or 8 years ago. We get Bill Clinton going up there and saying he spent his entire life apologizing. He didn't apologize once. And not only did he not apologize, but you have the lamestream media that wants Donald Trump and every Republican to every second of the day continue to renounce racism and bigotry and the KKK and the neo-Nazis. Every time they get in front of, they put a camera in front of these people. Do you renounce them? Yeah, I just said it 5 minutes ago. Yeah, but do you renounce them now? Yeah, I renounced them on the last show, but this is my show. Do you renounce them on my show? Yes. How about you? Do you renounce them? Do you renounce Antifa? What are you talking about? I'm not asking. You're not asking the questions here. This is my show. I heard this from CNN. I don't know who the info babe was. She got pissed at her guest because the guest asked her to renounce Antifa. This is my show. I'm asking the questions here. Folks, I'm telling you, they're losing their minds because they are the true racists. Now, maybe not just the regular rank-and-file liberal Jane and liberal Joe. I'm not saying those people. Not your regular, everyday liberal next-door neighbor. But these people that are running around causing violence, causing mayhem, doing all the destruction, that includes Black Lives Matter. Yes, black people can be racist. They're the racist ones, folks. I don't know how many times I've got to give you example after example after example. Both modern example and historical example. There is no elation in the black community for any of the leftist stuff, except for the fact that President Johnson, LBJ, was very correct and very good in his thought process of how to get Democrats to support their slave masters. Promise them all kinds of free government money and free government stuff, and they'll go along with it. And guess what? The black community has for nearly 40 years now. And they're worse off today than they were in the 1960s. Think about that for a second. You have a half African president for 8 years. In that 8 year span, you got African Americans in this country that have ended up poorer economically and educationally than they did under a so-called racist white president, George W. Bush. I love how they call these people, George H.W. Bush was a racist. I'm surprised that they didn't call. I guess if we would have given it time, they would have called Jeb Bush a racist too. Even though his wife is Latino, and his son, George P. Bush. Remember, everybody went gaga over George P. Bush, little Georgie. And as he got a little, he went. I think he's kind of gray now, gray hair. But as he got older, he was a teenage heartthrob. Oh, he was gorgeous. They just wanted to vote for him because he was gorgeous. Oh, Georgie P. is gorgeous. But the Bush family's racist, kind of like the Trumps. Trump's son-in-law is Jewish, in his cabinet, no less. He's one of his major chief advisors. But Trump is a bigoted, racist, homophobic Jew hater. How are you a Jew hater when you have important members of your cabinet and advisory council who are Jewish? And you embrace it. You embrace the fact that your daughter has converted to Judaism and raising his grandchildren as Jews. Yeah, but still, Trump's a racist. Well, yeah, look what Trump did. Trump's a racist, man. Look at all the housing that he built. Because he wasn't like his dad, and he didn't build what ended up becoming a lot of Fred Trump's housing. Was meant for poorer folks. Donald Trump didn't go that direction. He built housing for people who could afford his stuff, expensive, for the wealthy. And he didn't matter what your race was. If you could afford one of his condos or apartments in one of his buildings, he sold it to you, no big deal. Well, because there doesn't seem to be as many black people, evidently, buying in his expensive high rises somewhere. That must mean that he's racist. No, it means that you've got a problem in your community and you don't have enough people reaching the pinnacle of success that some other cultures have. I don't, or I don't know. Maybe black people just don't want to be that ostentatious after all. Now, as much as I like Donald Trump, there ain't no way in hell I'm spending that kind of money on any of his apartments, even if I could afford it. Oh, if you could afford it, Rod, you do it. No, I wouldn't. My choice. And there are a lot of people who are like that. But it doesn't, just because I don't want to live in one of his buildings and pay what I believe to be overinflated prices, doesn't mean I'm a racist. This whole, I'm telling you right here, as I've said so many times before on the show, the reason why they are pointing that finger, the left is pointing the finger at everybody else who isn't a so-called Antifa progressive ACLU member. The reason why they're pointing the finger and the reason why they're trying to shove neo-Nazis to the right when Nazism is a leftist ideal is because three fingers are pointing back at them and they're guilty 3 times over at least of everything. And I mean everything they're accusing the right of.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on The Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0 Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shea brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around well, primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
803-835-3226. Welcome back. Glad that you are here on this Friday morning here in northern New England. It is rather kind of a dark, rainy day. I don't know if it's supposed to... I don't know if we're going to actually get some sunshine today, but hopefully for the week. Kind of, why does it seem like it never fails to happen on the weekend? Rain. It's the way it does it a lot, and kind of a pain. But Mother Nature is Mother Nature, unless of course you are Al Gore, who's now demanding that President Trump resign. Oh, yeah. But not over Antifa or the KKK or neo-Nazis, not over his bombastic speeches or stuff that he says. No, President Trump, according to Al Gore, should resign from the presidency because he pulled us out of the Paris Agreement. Yeah. Even though everybody involved in this says, well, the Paris Agreement really isn't going to do much, if anything at all, to stop or help or alleviate global warming or climate change at all. No, it's not going to do anything. The whole notion of the Paris climate change is to show that at least that they care enough to try to do something, to do anything. Whether or not it works or not is irrelevant. We're just showing, and by pulling out of the Paris Agreement, we're showing the world that we just don't care, and that we can't do that, according to Al Gore. We have to show that we care. Well, I think we've got a few things that are a little bit more important, considering that none of the stuff about this global climate change that they all talk about was supposed to have happened by. None of it's happened. As a matter of fact, in many cases, it's just the opposite. We're supposed to have complete and total meltout of the North Pole, and instead, what we're getting is record amounts of ice, and ice earlier than normal. Same with the Antarctic sheet. The Antarctic sheet was supposed to be shrinking, and instead, it's actually expanding. We were supposed to. The temperature was supposed to be so hot that deserts were all over the planet were supposed to be expanding beyond our control. The whole north half of Africa was now supposed to be Sahara desert. These droughts that we were experiencing that now just about everywhere in this country has been alleviated. And in fact, places where we had drought, now they're complaining that they've got too much water, flooding. So we were supposed to continue to have droughts, and lakes were literally supposed to dry up with flapping, dying fish all over the place. That didn't happen. So we're supposed to have all this, the temperatures are supposed to be rising. Australians are supposed to be dying by the truckloads of skin cancer because the sun was just going to bake everybody down there. And none of this stuff is happening. And sometimes it's the opposite is happening. But every time you turn on the TV, they want to bring up, well, we have climate change is affecting this, and climate change is major here, and climate change is major. I mean, they built a desalination plant for Melbourne, Australia, because of drought, and the drought is due to climate change. Well, the reality is, historically speaking, if you talk to some of the Aboriginal people who've lived on that continent island for centuries, they'll say, nah, it's always been this dry here, mate. Just haven't had that many people living here before. That's why. It's always been this dry. So, I mean, it's just none of the stuff that they're bringing forward as far as this global, man-made global climate change crap is actually true. It's now getting to the point where it's hilarious. Maybe they should do a Saturday Night Live skit about global warming. That should be funny. Yes, I can see the moon from my house.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
603-835-3226 is the call-in number. Welcome back. Let's get in this morning to some of the holidays. Yes, the holidays for today. A daily listing of today's holidays for August 18th. And here we go. Mail Order Catalog Day. Yes, today it's observed annually on the 18th of August. It is Mail Order Catalog Day. Do you still get catalogs in the mail? I do. Some of them I don't know how I get some of them. A couple of them I've asked for. The cigar catalogs. Yeah, I get cigar catalogs in the mail from like cigar.com and another Thompson Cigar Company. As well as I shop a lot over at my favorite cigar store of Castro's here in the Concord and Manchester areas. So I get those, but I also get something called Frontgate. Now, I don't ever remember ordering anything from Frontgate. Not to mention, in my opinion, Frontgate is an overpriced magazine. It's home furnishings and stuff. It's really overpriced as far as I'm concerned. I mean, solar lights get a pair of solar lights for $120. They better be made out of real gold. Seriously, but those stupid pathway lights that people have. Yeah, you pick them up at Walmart or even Target or something for $5, $10, even $20. Even Lowe's and Home Depot will have a set of like 6 or 8 for $50. But they only want to give you 2 for $120. Give me doormats in this Frontgate catalog. Doormats. You know the things you put in your front door and your back door that say hello and welcome and go away and all that kind of stuff? $60 for those things. So, but evidently they've been around a while. So, but I don't know why I'm getting I've never bought a damn thing from them. But anyway, so Mail Order Catalog Day is today. I got a story here that goes along with that. You got what millennials are doing. And they're saying this is the first time you could ever do that. Now, anybody remember Finger Hut? Yeah, Finger Hut is still around and going stronger than ever, and there's a reason why. So there's still also a mail order catalog as well. But today is also National Fajita Day. It's a good thing it's Friday. So go out there and enjoy yourself some good fajita or fajita. This is the day that is dedicated to the Tex-Mex culinary cuisine, and it was started just 2 years ago in 2016, or 1 year ago. Well, this is not 2018 yet. I'm way ahead of myself. Just a year ago. I don't think they really needed a holiday to celebrate Mexican food. I think people do it anyway. Well, we already have a couple of Mexican holidays, don't we? Cinco de Mayo, and I think there's another one out there. Today is also National Men's Grooming Day. Hey, men have got to get their hair, all their hairs did, in order to prepare for November, which is Movember, when men don't get their hair did. So it's also National Ice Cream Pie Day, as well as National Soft Ice Cream Day. So you have your choice of ice cream pie. Well, you don't even have to choose. You can have ice cream pie for dessert for lunch, and then soft ice cream for dessert for dinner. Today is also Serendipity Day. Well, you got to know what serendipity means in order for you to understand the holiday, but wasn't there a movie called Serendipity? There was like I think my ex-wife made me go see that with her, or we watched it or something. It was a silly romantic comedy type of thing. I don't know how old it was. I guess it's not that old, but yeah, it is. It's going back a few years. It's made in the 90s, I think. But anyway, today is also National Bad Poetry Day. Founded by renowned holiday creators Thomas and Ruth Roy of Wellcat Holidays. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I didn't know. How are you a well-known holiday creator? You just run around creating holidays for people? And they have a company that does that? Well, okay. Okay, so Thomas and Ruth Roy of Wellcat Holidays, this day, Bad Poetry Day, is dedicated to bad poetry. Yes, now how do you celebrate? The day may be spent reading bad poetry. Try reading some William Topaz McGonagall poems. I don't know who that is. I'm not huge into poetry, so I guess I wouldn't know who it is. Or some bad poems by good poets like Frost. Frost made bad poems? Okay. Once you get a feel for how bad it can get, try writing your own bad poetry. Get some friends together and write and see who can make the worst poems. Even if they are bad poems, you still will be creating something, as Kurt Vonnegut said. Practicing an art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow. For heaven's sake, sing in the shower, dance to the radio, tell stories, write poem to a friend, even a lousy poem. Do it as well as you possibly can. You will get an enormous reward. You will have created something. So go out there. I can just see it now. A bunch of beatniks getting together over glasses and glasses of wine to create bad poetry today, to celebrate Bad Poetry Day. It is also, finally today, it is also the day of discovery for helium. So Helium Discovery Day. It celebrates the day that helium was first discovered in the mid-19th century. Evidently, scientists wanted to study the chemical composition of the sun and thought that a solar eclipse was necessary to do so. So in 1868, French astronomer Pierre-Jules César Janssen, or Janssen, Janssen, went to Guntur, India, to watch an eclipse in hopes of studying the sun's composition. Now, on August 18th, using a prism, he found a yellow light that appeared to be sodium, but found out that it didn't have the same wavelength as that element. It turns out what he had discovered was helium. Ironically, another scientist, Joseph Norman Lockyer, Lockyer, was also studying the sun and was able to view the solar prominences of the sun without an eclipse. Like Janssen, he also discovered helium. Only a few months after his fellow scientists, for 3 decades, the scientists were derided for their discoveries. And it was not until William Ramsay found helium inside of iron ore that the earlier discoveries were vindicated. So you had 2 scientists. Because why? Because it wasn't settled science. It wasn't consensus. The consensus was that these 2 scientists were quackpots. Until somebody else who came along and said, "Nope, they got it right. Here's some iron here." So now we get to celebrate helium, in spite of scientists saying that these 2 scientists who first discovered it were crackpots. Does that sound familiar? Scientists haven't changed, have they? I don't think they have. They haven't changed much. If you still come up with something that they don't want to believe, they'll still call you a quackpot. Now, of course, the easiest, most fun way to celebrate Helium Discovery Day is to have your lungs discover helium by breathing in the element from a balloon. Once the discovery is made, they'll make sure to get some oxygen so you don't pass out. There are people who have suffocated by inhaling too much helium because it displaces oxygen in your lungs. All of it. If you inhale too much of it, it actually... Because in your lungs never completely dispel all of the oxygen. There's like a little reserve left over. But helium somehow is able to get in and completely and totally dispel all oxygen. So you could actually suffocate yourself, and people have done that. So if you breathe in helium just so you can talk, first of all, don't breathe in too deeply, and 2, don't do it more than once or twice, and get some fresh air after that. Don't keep doing it. Just a warning, folks, because people have injured themselves and even died because they've breathed in too much helium, and it's heavier. It finds a way to displace all oxygen in your lungs, and it can get into your system, and that's just not a good thing. Now, you could just buy some helium balloons and walk around with them all day. If people ask you why you have balloons, just tell them it's Helium Discovery Day. You can tell people, other people about the event of today and what led up to today's holiday. So you can, that's by walking around with balloons. So that's a good thing. Those are the holidays for today, August 18th. Helium Discovery Day. Bad Poetry Day is probably the most interesting one. Get out there and write yourself some bad poetry while eating some fajitas. Yeah, hold that. Have some nice balloons, tied to your chair while you're talking about or emoting your bad poetry while eating some fajitas. I mean, well, yeah, well, okay. You can go ahead and do that if you want. Wolf Blitzer. People will ask, was the Barcelona terror attack a copycat of Charlottesville? This is what Wolf Blitzer actually said. Who is going to ask if this is a copycat of Charlottesville? I mean, is this guy completely devoid of recent history? What's happened in Germany and Paris and London? Shouldn't you have asked whether or not what happened in Charlottesville was a copycat of London or Paris or any other of the half dozen major cities in Europe where terrorists have tried to run people over? How is this a copycat of Charlottesville? So the Media Research Center in CNS, after 8 jihadi car ramming terror attacks this year alone, I think it's more likely people ask whether Wolf ate paint chips as a kid, according to the article writer Alpha Pundit on Hot Air. So Wolf Blitzer is out there on CNN asking, will people be asking it? This is he asked this of Jim Sciutto, Sciutto, Chief National Security Correspondent for CNN. Wolf Blitzer asked, "Hey, Jim, do you think people will ask if this Barcelona terror attack was a copycat of Charlottesville?" So Charlottesville, you get a supposed neo-Nazi running over a few people, a few Antifa people in Charlottesville, and that's a terror attack. The equivalent of just wanting to kill, Muslims wanting to kill non-Muslims. Now, if anything, there are people that are saying that, well, maybe the Antifa thing, or maybe the Charlottesville thing by the supposed neo-Nazi is self-defense from Antifa. Let's face it, Antifa is a very violent organization. We know that they are. But now this is how people go off the deep end. You literally, Wolf Blitzer from CNN, asking I don't even know how you can even ask the question with and I should properly put this in Black Lives Matter speak. I don't know how Wolf can ask a question. If people will be asking if the Barcelona thing is a terror attack, is a copycat, because everybody knows that Charlottesville is just a racist city, just a racist town. So it ain't no copycat. The only people doing terror is Whitey. That's who's doing the terror. In fact, we're gonna make some rap songs about that. Where's Little John? Make some rap songs.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 6.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face and sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
$603-835-3226. One of the things that people have to understand when it comes to the left and all this terror stuff. Now let's be just a little bit serious here for a second. These people are totally off the deep end because they've got two objectives here. The first objective is protecting the Obama legacy. First and foremost. And second is to blame everything bad that they possibly can on Donald Trump. I mean, if they could figure out a way to blame the Barcelona tragedy, the Barcelona terror attack on Trump, they would. They would have already done it. I'm not even... Look, I'm sure that they're still trying to they're sitting somewhere in a conference room somewhere trying to figure out how to do just that. Because how else do you go on the air and ask an asinine question? Do you think that the Barcelona terrorist attack is a copycat of Charlottesville, Virginia? Considering the major similar attacks across Europe that have happened this year alone. Not even talking about previous years, just this year alone. The number of people that have been killed and injured this year alone from these attacks, and you want to sit there and ask the question, do you think it's a copycat of Charlottesville, Virginia? How do you even live with yourself? Because what you're trying to do and trying to say, well, see, it's because of racists, and Trump is the biggest racist, and he won't condemn racists, even though he condemns them over and over and over and over again. You keep asking the same question. Do you disavow? How many times do you want the man to do that? Well, he didn't do it fast enough. Okay, so he did it before he was even asked, and he said, well, you didn't say it right. I mean, he didn't say it right. In whose eyes? Because he said, well, there are bad people on both sides. How can you possibly say there are bad people on both sides? Because there are. And he said that there are good people on both sides. Are you saying that there are good neo-Nazis? That's not what he said. Loving how you guys just twist everything. Donald Trump was not praising the neo-Nazis. But he was saying that, look, there are bad, evil, mean, racist people on both sides of the political aisle. Can you deny that? How can you deny that when you're looking at people like Robert Byrd alone? I mean, that's just. I know he's just one person, but he's a very prominent person. Well, Rod, you got to always bring up Robert Byrd. He died back in like 2009 or 10, man. He's been dead for a long time. Not even a decade yet, but he's not the only one. And the problem is all the people that supported Robert Byrd, a bunch of prominent people that supported him and backed him up and loved him and voted for him are still alive, including Hillary and Bill. You remember that funeral where Bill went there and just made excuse after excuse for Robert Byrd? He was Robert Byrd's personal apologist. And none of you on the left thought that there was a problem with that. None of you on the left are attacking any town or city or municipality to get Robert Byrd's name removed from any monument, bridge, highway, street, city, library, school, public building at all. I'm surprised there's not a town named Robert Byrd. But you guys want to jump on Donald Trump for saying that there are bad people on both sides? Yes, there are bad people on both sides. Absolutely. Problem is that he's condemning Antifa and you won't. Will you disavow Antifa, leftists? No, you won't. Why? Because you like the violence. You think it sells papers for you, for one, if you're in the news business. But you think it's because they're acting out against Republicans and right-wingers. They're not. Folks, they're starting to attack Abraham Lincoln. How dumb, ignorant, and bad must you be to attack the very person that helped get rid of the very thing that you say that you're protesting against? Slavery and racism and bigotry. That makes a hell of a lot of sense, right? Not.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back, hour number 2 this Friday morning.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, indeed. Here it is, Friday, August number 18 in the year of our Lord 2017, as we do every Friday. This Friday, we're trying to take it a little bit easier as we slide on into the weekend to celebrate our increasing freedom. Although, if you are looking at people like Antifa, or however you want to pronounce them, and some of these other leftist progressive groups, even some of them that they're trying to shove to the right, they would rather take away some of your freedom. Isn't that funny? I don't mean funny as in funny, haha, but it's just kind of funny that these people are talking about freedom and while they want to take away some people's freedom simply because they disagree with them. It's just weird. Anyway, anything goes, just about anything goes today. Just keep it clean, please. 603-835-3226. You can talk about just about anything on your mind. It could be science. It could be politics, although we talk about politics Monday through Thursday. It could be current events. It could be about Hollywood. I got some Hollywood stuff here, too. Just some crazy well, let me just give you an example of crazy crap here. You got this father and daughter. The daughter is an adult on Frontier Airlines, and they were filmed by another passenger being kicked off the flight after the father and daughter were having a private conversation and saying between themselves how they thought that the flight staff looked unhappy. Well, there was an 8-hour delay, by the way, from Frontier, and these two were deriding a private conversation between. They were not loud, just talking amongst themselves how poor for them how poor the customer service was, especially after having an 8-hour delay. And the flight attendant claimed that she felt threatened after overhearing them talk about how bad that the crew, miserable the crew looked. And of course, the big thing is, Frontier is saying, they spewed profanity at the crew. Well, I'd probably spew a few expletives too if you were kicking me off your flight after an 8-hour delay because you overheard a private conversation. The problem is with these people, don't these people know that everybody is a news hound now? Everybody's got a camera on their phone. And they're going to take, if anything that looks like it's going to be exciting and newsworthy that they can post on Facebook or YouTube, they're going to flip on the camera portion of their cell phone and start filming. Well, that's what happened here. And it looks like the profanity started after they were approached to be kicked I'd be more than a little upset, too. I'm sure that's probably the last time you're going to get these two flying on Frontier. Now, I've never flown Frontier, but is Frontier one of those cheap airlines like Spirit? I don't know. I've never been on Frontier. I've been on Spirit, and might I say that I was not pleased with my Spirit adventure. My Spirit flights on Spirit were not spiritual. They were enlightening, but they were not spiritual. I don't do cut rate airlines anymore. Spirit cured me of that. Yeah, you want to fly from A to B at the cheapest possible. I just want to fly there comfortably, on time as much as possible. And I know even some of the bigger names I fly Delta, United, American a lot, but even they tick me off every once in a while. But usually when they do, because you're probably paying a little bit more than you're paying on Spirit, they usually try to make you happy in some way and try to accommodate. Now there have been a couple of times when they didn't, and I got stuck in the Houston airport overnight. That was not pleasant. And actually Americans sent me a letter apologizing for that. Even though it was not their fault that everything was delayed, it was due to thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms in Texas. But the way they handled it, after I went from McAllen, Texas to Houston, after I got to Houston, the way they handled it was not in United Airlines' best interest. They weren't even going to pay for my hotel. They gave me a voucher for 20% off a room. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm going to have to pay for a taxi or an Uber to get to the damn hotel, then pay for my hotel, and then pay for an Uber or taxi to come back to the airport the next morning to catch a flight. You must be crazy. Well, they afterwards they did send me a voucher for a free hotel room. After I got their letter and apologizing. I will probably never use that voucher. Because it's got limitations. When you fly, us again, you use this for a free hotel, whatever. But at least they made an attempt. It was after the fact, but at least they tried to make it right. Which is why I find it, look, you honestly make an honest attempt to really right what I feel was a wrong done to me, and we're good. It doesn't have. Well, it should try to satiate me. Yeah, it should be a real gesture, obviously. But it's called customer service, and when you screw up, you need to try to make it up, or else, I could have badmouthed United over that. They got, but now they're getting some good PR out of it, aren't they? I don't know if airlines like Frontier are getting good PR out of kicking somebody off of their flight after it was delayed for 8 hours because the two of these passengers who were having a quiet, private conversation were frustrated as hell. I understand what it's like to be delayed. It's especially if you have to try to get someplace else to make a connecting flight. It is extremely stressful. It is. It's an awful feeling. And to actually land someplace knowing that you've got literally 60 seconds to make your next flight, you're not going to make it. Do airlines fully understand how stressful that is? You're delayed somewhere for hours. Last thing you want to do is spend hours in an airport. But hey, it is what it is. We do have Agent Double. I rambled on too long. We have Agent 0010 on the line here. We're going to discuss a little bit more about Barcelona and what? Not Barcelona. Well, what happened in Spain? And now, I gotta ask, Agent, honestly, where do you think Wolf Blitzer would ever come up with the idea by asking the question if this is a copycat of Charlottesville? Did the other run me over terrorist attacks mean nothing to Wolf Blitzer?
I'm sure that you've heard of the phrase desperate times calls for desperate measures. Well, in this case, in Wolf Blitzer, and especially in CNN's case, desperate times call for dumbass comments. Basically, that's about it. Because that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. To turn around and say that the racist piece of crap that ran over that girl, that killed that girl, that influenced what happened in Barcelona, in Spain. Well, that's like saying, okay, well, then fine. Then I could sit here and say that it's not that fat kid's fault because he was influenced by what happened in Lyon, France, what happened in Germany a couple of times, what happened in England a couple of times, what happened in Sweden a couple of times before he did that. So in that case, you know what? If you're going to say that these individuals in Spain were influenced by this one kid in Charlottesville and that guy is innocent, well, then guess what? That fat kid is innocent because he was influenced by what happened in all these other countries in Europe. Terrorist attacks by ISIS. So thank you, Wolf Blitzer, for giving that kid an easy out. You're an idiot.
I don't. Well, that's a good point, but I don't even know where he could. This hatred for Donald Trump is just way over the top. I mean, there really is Trump derangement syndrome out there that would push them so far to say something like that or even think something like that. But we know now that there was an attempt at another. Well, there are more people arrested in Spain over this that are tied to this one incident, were there not?
Yes, what happened was that in a region of Spain not far from Barcelona, just a few miles away, and it's called the Alcaron district, the night before, a house that was just full of butane and propane tanks had exploded, decimating the house and killing the two occupants that were inside the house. Then the actual terrorist attack occurred in Barcelona. Now here, 2 more people were arrested after the whole incident, killing 14 people, one of them being a 3-year-old child, and about 100 were injured. And like I said, 2 people were arrested in that situation. Then you fast forward to the same day, but in the evening, it seems that 5 individuals that were in an automobile were coming around a roundabout, and they saw a police checkpoint. They said, oh, great. Well, guess what? This is time. Now, these guys were wearing fake bomb belts, explosive belts. They weren't actually explosive belts. And they got into a shootout with the Spanish police. They tried to ram the policeman over. In fact, they did run the policeman over. And then when other officers came in to assist, they got into a shootout with the Spanish police. Big mistake. And all 5 of those individuals were killed also. Now, here's the alarm bells that I'm seeing and hearing massively. Spain has some of the most stringent gun laws in the planet. First of all, before you can even apply for a license, because in order to own a gun, there is no ands, ifs, or buts about it, no gun shows, no nothing like that. You must apply for a license first. You must present that license before going to a gun show or purchasing a weapon. But before you can get that license, first you have to go through a criminal background investigation. Okay, fine. Then you have to go through a psychological evaluation. They actually have a mandatory psychological evaluation before even buying a license or applying for a license to get a weapon. So, last night, before this whole thing started blowing up about the shootout between the police officers and the ISIS terrorists, something was telling me that this is a much bigger situation, because early in the report, the American media like Fox, CNN, and all the others were saying, oh, it's just a small terror cell, maybe 3 or 4 people. No, there was something missing, something that they were not seeing that I was seeing. And then when it finally erupted that the gunfight had occurred, now all the pieces together. Yes, this is a much bigger group. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, it's bigger than the individuals that were involved last night, which consisted of 2 individuals arrested in Barcelona. Then a 3rd person was arrested down the street from the incident at Las Ramblas. Then 2 dead at the explosion the night before, and then 5 dead that following evening. And to me, there's many more involved in this because, first of all, you need the connections to get these weapons without the license. Then you have to have the money to get these weapons without the license. So to me, this is more than just a terror cell. This is an entire terror network that's involved. But, of course, the American media are not going to push that too hard right now because they're saying, oops, we messed up. Because our analysis says we messed up. We basically gave false information. So we're going to let that lay there and continue on with everything else, except elaborate on the size of the terror network. Because like I said, you need the money and you need the connections to get the guns. That's if guns were used. And according to the Spanish police, the 5 ISIS members did have guns. But according to the American media, they had hatchets and machetes. Well, you're not going to charge a line of cops that have weapons in their hands with axes and machetes. You're not going to do that. Because if you do and you're wearing a fake bomb belt, well, the cops are going to shoot for the bomb belt. I personally would. I'd just like to turn you into a jigsaw puzzle. Now,
well, yeah.
Yeah. Now, because of the strict Spanish laws involving gun possession, one of the things also is, get ready for this, you have to be a resident of Spain, a legal resident of Spain. Only one of the people last night was a legal resident of Spain, but he lived in North Africa. But he was still a legal resident of Spain. That's not enough to get these weapons. So, to me, there is a network involved. Now, last night, reports started developing that the CIA had advised the Spanish government about a possible terrorist attack in Las Ramblas. The CIA, by this information leaking out, whether it was leaked out or was revealed, I don't know which one it was, that was a huge mistake. Because tensions between the Catalan government, which is in the northeastern region of Spain, which is Barcelona, Pamplona, all the Catalans, they live up there. There's tension between the Catalans and the Spanish government. The Catalans want to separate. They want to secede from Spain. By the CIA turning around and divulging this information, saying, well, we warned the Spanish government, now you've just, when this is all said and done, when things finally calm down, you have just given the Catalan government a reason to continue the fight for secession. You've just involved yourself in an international incident that you had no business involving yourself in. That information should have remained within the CIA. You have just given the Catalans fuel or a fan to just wave over the flames of separation from Spain. You did it. You got involved. You should have kept your mouth shut. And if there was a leak, you need to find the individual that leaked this information. Because the CIA has no business getting involved in that kind of international incident whatsoever. But
I'm sure they thought they were helping somehow, but yeah.
No, they were just running around saying, oh, it's not our fault. We warned you. We warned you a couple of months ago. It's not our fault. That's what the CIA basically did. And that's, sorry to tell you this, but it's childish.
Who would blame the CIA? Well, I guess in this day and age, they could get blamed for anything. But who would blame the CIA for something happening in somebody else's country? If it happened in the USA or possession of the USA, yeah, I could see how they could blame the CIA. But it's not. It's Spain, not U.S. So
did we just talk about Wolf Blitzer?
Yes, I know.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget who I'm talking about. There's a brief lapse. Even happens to me every once in a while because I just like to think that people are capable of using and utilizing logic on a regular basis, not realizing sometimes that these people that I talk about on a daily basis, they don't utilize logic on a daily basis. And it's
no, they don't.
Yeah. Well, that's my perfect. What kind of world would be perfect for you, Rod? Well, the perfect world for me isn't that everybody gets along in peace and harmony, peace, love, and harmony type of thing. I like to buy the world a Coke. No, my perfect society would be where everybody actually thinks before they act, react, or speak, and they use logic. That would be a perfect society for me.
Oh, yeah. It'd be perfect for anybody, but the problem is that when people think, sometimes they think like, when they're thinking, I can actually, are you watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon in that head of yours? Is that what you call thinking?
That's why I say think logically.
Oh, okay. My bad. But here's something else that's being overlooked. There is a magazine that is influenced by Al-Qaeda. Now, this magazine has a 13-page report on how to derail a train and how easy it is. This is definitive proof that either A, that magazine is supporting a think tank on how to conduct terrorist activities, or are in communications with ISIS think tank, individuals that sit around all day long and devise methods and concepts or ideas on how to conduct terrorist activity. What has to be done is that this think tank has to be sought out, and it has to be eliminated. So it's either the magazine itself that has this think tank group, or this little group of individuals that are coming up with these ideas, or find out from that magazine, by hook or crook, how they're getting this information on how to conduct these acts and who these people are, so then they can go after them. By eliminating them, you are now actually severing the brainstem. You are severing the brainstem from the rest of the body, because now they have to come up and look for other individuals that can come up with great ideas how to conduct these activities, and that's going to take a while, which gives us time to actually implement ways of getting to them. Now, here's the opposing argument to that, and that is that if we do that, then we won't know how they're thinking. We won't know how to set up blockades to prevent these acts from occurring. Notice, here's my response. We're doing a pretty crappy job of it now. So what's the difference?
Yeah, that is true. Well, I thank you for your analysis, my friend. Got to run, take these breaks, and the only thing that these people understand, like Donald Trump says, is just say, well, you do this, we kill you. Simple as that.
That's it.
Fury. Bring the rain and fury down on you.
Well, you have a great one, and I'll talk to you Wednesday.
Thanks, Agent. Have a good one. Stay safe.
You too. I will.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
The problem is when you start making excuses for a group of people that do terrorist acts, you got to keep doing it. It makes you look like a buffoon. Look at Wolf Blitzer. You got to get over. It's supposed to be news. Just tell us the facts, please. Just tell us the facts. We'll be back. Call Rod now. 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
603-835-3226. Here's something to make you feel old if you follow such a thing. Did you know that Sarai Cruz is now 11 years old? Yeah, I know. Well, we're not going to get into this whole. There is a site out there that asks that supposedly can show proof or what have you of some of these manly stars that we have out there, that they're like stars of old. They're in the closet. And supposedly they have proof that the Michael Jackson children are not actually. There was not only was the mothers of these children a donor, but so was the sperm that impregnated her. That DNA speaking, none of the three kids belong to Michael Jackson, and there are people claiming that Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, it was a setup, an arranged marriage from within the Church of Scientology to cover the fact that he is at least bi, and that he really, I guess, according to this site, they've never consummated. Now, I don't know if that's true. But and the reason why that Tom Cruise evidently has not seen little Sarai in a couple of years now is because she's not his real biological father or daughter. So I don't know. Again, not saying that any of that stuff is true. I don't know. But there are people out there who try to follow this stuff, and it's just proof that Hollywood, in any sense of the word, is just full of a bunch of nut jobs, man. Why would you want to go out there and be a part of that insanity? Well, I bring that up because there's another bit of nut jobbery out there. As we are talking about tearing down and arguing, and we got people arguing about tearing down certain monuments, including the Civil War monument, that where is that? The giant one on the mountain cliff, as well as people talking about possibly, maybe we need to deface Mount Rushmore, because it's got Thomas Jefferson on there and George Washington and Teddy. Now, yeah, Teddy Roosevelt is now a huge racist. I don't. Yeah, okay. But on the opposite side, we got somebody out there in California, Hollywood, that wants to raise a new Mount Rushmore-style monument. Yes, Surfer Bro, as he's called, Chad Kroger, returned to San Clemente City Council with a new plea earlier this week. You see, back in March, he pleaded with the California city for a 12-foot statue of Paul Walker. Now, in good humor, the town responded with a 1-foot statue of the late actor. Now, Kroger is back, citing tension and unrest across the nation. Kroger returns with a new plea, asks the city to consider carving a giant image of Paul Walker into the San Clemente cliffs. He calls Walker a giant among men and says monument could heal the nation. So now we're going to say that a statue of an actor who portrays basically a government secret agent is going to be, in movies, is going to be able to heal the nation. Sorry, you can't make this stuff up. But you know what? They're actually, I'm not saying, well, yeah, they're taking him seriously enough to listen to him a second time. Now, he's already been there asking for a 12-foot statue to be put up on like the public square or someplace, or City Hall or something, And the city council thought it was it's so cute that you love Paul Walker. Yes, he was such a wonderful. We'll give you a 12-inch statue instead of the 12-foot statue. 12-inch versus 12-foot. So now this guy is back, and they're listening to him again. Now, nothing personally against Paul Walker, but he's not a uniting type of human being or actor, for crying out loud. I mean, just look at the roles that he took. Just saying. I mean, Hollywood people, I have no idea why they would, why anybody wants to be out there in Hollywood. It must be the money. Must be the money. Yeah, what was that? That was some song. That was a hit not too long ago. But I don't I don't know how Paul Walker could be a uniting force to heal. But he obviously believes it with all his heart. I have no idea how or why, but he does. But here's another heartache, I guess, for some people. Senator K. Rock is a no-go. You may have scoffed at the suggestion that Kid Rock isn't serious about his political career and running for an office that pulls down less than a year than he makes on an average tour date. However, the sourcing for this one is none other than the Nuge. That would be Ted Nugent for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Realinda, who tells Michigan radio host Frank Beckman that the effort to draft the other Rock for a 2018 Senate race has a star laughing up his sleeve and all the way to the bank. Evidently, so, because The Rock is, I guess The Rock is talking about running for president. President Rock, Dwayne Johnson. President Dwayne, well, I guess Arnold Schwarzenegger can't run for president, but Dwayne Rock can run in his stead, right? Now, no offense to The Rock, but what makes The Rock qualified to be president when Donald Trump wasn't? Dwayne Johnson is very good at faking stuff. He was a pro wrestler. And don't tell me that stuff is real. Sure, some of it is real. Sometimes they get carried away or there's an accident or two. But most of that stuff is just fake. The human body cannot take what these people off. It's like cartoon stuff. I hate to tell people that the World Wrestling Entertainment, whatever it is entertainment, yes. And most of it is not real. Just like Hollywood movies are not real, but it is entertainment. Now, what makes this guy think that he's qualified to be president? Because he's got big muscles? Well, as big as Dwayne The Rock Johnson's muscles are, that's not going to get him ahead in international diplomacy. It's not going to work. So, but anyway, I guess the Rock may have been flirting with the idea of possibly running for president in 2020 or 2024 or something like that. And so then I guess Kid Rock, not to be outdone by The Rock, decided, well, I could run for Senate here in my state of Michigan. And some people took Kid Rock seriously. Now, I said this. I said, well, he's a conservative musician, like Ted Nugent. So that's really makes him stand out and makes him different. But he is going to have to remake himself and use his real name and cut his hair and be something totally different. And it would be a huge pay cut for him to do so. I've said this already. So evidently, according to Ted Nugent, is that Kid Rock or Bob Ritchie ain't running for jack squat, is what Ted Nugent has said. So Ted Nugent just probably burst the bubble of many people in Michigan, especially around lower Michigan in Detroit area. I don't. Maybe you can get Tim Allen to run instead. Yeah, Tim Allen is from the Detroit area. So frankly, I don't think Tim Allen is really interested neither in the pay cut of being senator. But look, it's not a thing. It is a thankless job. No, let's be honest. It is kind of a thankless job. However, that's not the reason why we don't have everyday people running. We don't have everyday people running, and let's face it, people like Kid Rock, who's a musician, and frankly, in my opinion, I don't think he's all that good. But he's got a huge fan base, and he's sold lots and lots and lots of records. He sold a hell of a lot more records than I have. So who am I to say that he's no good? And he's got a huge fan base. So he could probably be a formidable contender for the seat. But he really isn't into politics. He's not an insider. He's just, when it comes to this kind of stuff, he's an average, regular, everyday Joe. Like you and me. And what they have done to politics in this country is to make it, is to take it away from the average Joe. Now, understand our founding fathers, they were average. Now, you may say, well, they were an average, Rod. They were above average. But no, they were really just average, everyday Joes. These were not professional politicians by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, sure, after the country was formed and they ran for certain offices, they earned their stripes in politics pretty damn quick. But these were not professional politicians to start with. Most of them were also not professional military men. They really had no clue other than just basic logic and following the laws of God. They did not know how to run a country. You had a bunch of political amateurs who started a nation, the nation that would become the most powerful nation that mankind has ever seen. Started by a bunch of amateurs. They were not professional politicians. Therefore, they were just regular, average men. And today it is very difficult, if not impossible, for your average, everyday person to run for political office, whether it be a state office or a national office. Local offices, sure, you can get your next door neighbor who can elected to be mayor or assemblyman or something like that, but try to get them to be governor. It's a little bit more difficult. And try to get them to be senator or congressman and send them to Washington, D.C. That's a lot more difficult. And that's simply because we have turned over our politics. And our founders warned us about this. In their letters and their speeches, they warned us about the professional politician. And we did not heed their warnings. And now the professional politician has taken over, and they've made it extremely difficult for an average everyday Joe to challenge them. And if you happen to win and go down to Washington, we've had tons of people tell us how this whole thing works. You're a freshman senator or freshman congressman, and one of the first things that happens is one of the party leaders. They come to your office, put their arms around your shoulder, and say, "Here, you want to get some things done around here, boy? This is how it works. You do what we tell you to do, for the most part, and then maybe we'll throw a few bones your way." Now, we've gotten people that have told us, a lot of different people on both sides of the political aisle, that told us this is how it works. Which is why a lot of them don't stay around. They're not there to get rich, but they realize they're not going to be able to get a damn thing done because we got a bunch of professional politicians putting their arms around them, telling them, this is how things work down here. And they can't do that to Donald Trump, which is why they hate him. Donald Trump gives people hope that the average person can run this country, and they don't want you thinking that. The professional politicians do not want you thinking that. But they will try to buy your vote, though. they will try to buy your vote. Got a story here. I mean, I couldn't believe this. But anyway, there's in my currently cigar nicotine-stained finger. Where is my cigar, by the way? I did not get one out of the humidor, did I? It's a perfect day for that because it's so rainy outside. During the break, I'm going to have to go to my humidor and get myself a cigar. Won a $400,000 grant. Well, somebody applied for a grant to watch gay people drink. I'm not making this stuff up. From the Free Beacon, this week's episode of our favorite game show, Guess Where Your Tax Money is Going, is brought to you by the Free Beacon. The National Institute of Health is a common source of amusement or dismay, depending on your perspective, when it comes to handing out grant money from the federal government for studies which sometimes appear to run far afield from their core mission. This year, they added to that dubious list of accomplishment by issuing more than $400,000 for a study to determine whether gender norms of masculinity and femininity lead LGBTQ individuals to drink too much. Next, are we going to have a study spend another $400,000 or $500,000 to figure out why gay men like to drink fruity cocktails and lesbian women like to drink beer? Really? Can't make this stuff up.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
603-835-3226. One of the things that we have to look at when it comes to all of this spending is it really going to help push society forward? Is it really helpful for society to know why or why not? Whatever the reason is or is not, why gay people, LGBTQ people, drink more than straight people. I guess that's what the $400,000 taxpayer dollars is for, to try to figure out why they drink more than the rest of us, I guess. But speaking of government spending, L.A. County leaders, Los Angeles, California County leaders greenlight an effort to pay homeowners to house the homeless. Yeah, a pilot program that pays some Los Angeles County homeowners to build a second dwelling on their property to house homeless people was approved with a 4-0 vote Tuesday by the Board of Supervisors. Homeowners in unincorporated communities who qualify can receive up to $75,000 to build a second dwelling in areas zoned for such structures, while others may get $50,000 to update and legalize an existing second dwelling. Now, the program was introduced last year as part of Los Angeles County's set of 47 strategies to solve homelessness. The Office of Regional Planning will work with several departments countywide with an allocated $55,000 in part to be used to offer subsidies. Unlike a guest house, second dwellings include kitchens. Guest houses do not include kitchens. The program will also streamline the permitting process and provide technical assistance to homeowners within the counties. My question, who's going to pay them once they build the structure? Okay, you give them the money to build the structure. Well, now their taxes are going to go up. So who's going to pay them? Are they going to pay them to house the homeless person there too? I'd say there's so you're going to give money for people to improve their properties. Okay, got that part. It's a very noble idea. It's really noble. It really is. I'm not going to argue with that. But now, is the government going to continue to pay the rent for these homeless people too, who are obviously now they're not homeless? So what is the dealio with this? Where does this stuff stop? You're going to help somebody else improve their property. Well, and then they're going to complain when their taxes go up. Trust me, they're going to do that. My taxes went up so much. Well, you improved your property. So LA wants to pay property owners to build little huts with kitchens so they can house the homeless. Good luck with that. Is that going to solve the problem? I don't think so.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along? Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back? Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer? With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95. I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow, they pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show on this Friday morning.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, Friday, August number 18 in the year of our Lord 2017, as we continue with the fastest 3 hours in Internet Talk Radio, which is right here. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number that you can utilize should you wish to join me here live and talk about just about anything on your mind. Even if you're a puny pea-brain, bird-brain liberal, you can call too. Nah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's open lines for anybody. Even if you, especially if you're a liberal. Would love to get a liberal or as you call yourselves, progressive take on some of this stuff that's happening out there. Like this. I mean, are you really into this whole idea of blowing up Mount Rushmore? Yes, PJ Media is reporting what Vice magazine tweeted. A Vice magazine tweet calls for blowing up Mount Rushmore. On the same day as a deadly incident in Barcelona that police have confirmed as a terror attack, a tweet published by Vice magazine called for blowing up Mount Rushmore. The original tweet has since been deleted, but not before PJ Media grabbed a screenshot of the post. As of this writing, the article linked to the original tweet remains the main post on Vice's homepage with slightly toned down language. I should probably just take... Let's blow up Mount Rushmore. So says the Vice tweet. Why? What? Because of evidently, like I said, the liberals don't like Abraham Lincoln either. Abraham Lincoln Monument is torched in Chicago. According to the Washington Times, yes, Abraham Lincoln has joined George Washington on the list of those targeted by Chicagoans in a national debate over Civil War-era monuments. There was an alderman, a Chicago alderman, took to Facebook Wednesday night to decry a defaced statue of the nation's 16th president in Inglewood, in an Inglewood neighborhood. The giant bust of Abraham Lincoln appears to have been damaged by someone who sprayed and ignited a flammable liquid. He's calling it an absolute disgraceful act of vandalism. This bust of Abraham Lincoln, erected by Phil Bloomquist on August 31st, 1926, was damaged and burned. Mr. Lopez wrote, 1926 is this was put in. I mean, this is okay. A local NBC affiliate reported, if anyone has any information regarding this act, please contact the police or my office immediately. F.A. Blinken responded, Quentin Mitchell, whose comment was liked or deemed funny by 160 others. The official's finding came just one day after President Trump stated opposition to tearing down memorials related to America's past with slavery. So now it's F. Abraham Lincoln. I'm just well, if you're a Ku Klux Klan member or maybe a neo-Nazi or a skinhead, you would probably say F. Abraham Lincoln, but evidently this Quentin Mitchell is not a white supremacist. If you're a white supremacist, sure, you would say F. Abe Lincoln simply because of what Abe Lincoln did. You know, he helped get rid of slavery, which is something you probably would still want if you were a white supremacist. But Quentin Mitchell is evidently not a white supremacist. So why would it be F. Abe Lincoln, unless you truly are coming home, you know, your chickens are coming home to roost, you liberal idiots. I've got your number. You're not fooling me. You know, you people who are Antifa and Black Lives Matter and all, you're not fooling me. And if you can't fool me, I'm going to tell everybody that's under the sound of my voice who will listen, so they're not fooled either by you. You guys are not about race harmony and peace among the different ethnicities in this country. No, you want a race war because you're bigoted, you're a-holes, you're racist, plain and simple. And you're trying to point the finger at everybody else for being that way when you got three fingers pointing straight back at you, because that is what Democrats and liberals often do. They often accuse others of doing what they themselves are doing in order to hide what they themselves are doing. And it's no different with Antifa or Antifa, whatever you want to call these idiots. You don't go around damaging something because you just don't like it or disagree with it. So it's been there since 1926. 1926. And because somebody just decided one day after the Charlottesville incident, that Abraham Lincoln must now be a white supremacist because he was a Republican. This is also part of the problem of not getting your facts straight, getting your facts right. All that KKK neo-Nazi stuff is on the left. It's not right. They're not alt-right. I'm not going to allow people to get away with continuing calling these neo-Nazi groups alt-right. I don't care who they claim to support. Anybody can do that. Hey, Mr. President, they like you over there. So what do you got to say about that? Who the hell cares? Black Lives Matter, for instance, loved Obama too. So big deal. Was that Obama's fault? No. Now, if he courted them, that's a different story. Obama courted Black Lives Matter. Donald Trump does not court the neo-Nazis. There's a huge difference. Donald Trump has disavowed and condemned neo-Nazis. Has Obama ever condemned and disavowed Black Lives Matter? Nope. Nope. Hasn't done it. Refuses to do it even to this day. So what's that tell you? Again, you've got the left out there blaming Donald Trump for all of this stuff when it's they themselves who are guilty of what they are accusing somebody else of. But I am not going to allow this stuff to continue anymore. Not under my watch. You're not going to get away with it. You want to call them, no, they're not rightists. They're not alt-right. They're alt-left. And really, there is no such thing as alt-left. They're just regular left. This is what the left has always been like. The KKK and the neo-Nazis are not alternate left. They're not some new extremist group on the left. They've always been there. And fascism has always been on the left. It's a quasi-socialist communist hybrid. It's not a right thing. It's about big government. How are you going to call it an alt-right system when on the right we want smaller government? Even the moderates, the so-called liberal Republicans, in a way they still want big government for the moderates. They want to be in charge of it, but they don't want it quite as big as Democrats do. That's the only difference. So in essence, they still want smaller government. But that's not fascism. I mean, the only kind of government that is probably bigger than a fascist government would be a complete and total communist government. A total communistic dictatorship. This is. I mean, where does all this nonsense stop? Would you people be doing this if Hillary Clinton were president? No. Would Hillary Clinton be calling for the removal of Civil War era statues? No, she didn't. She didn't call for any of that stuff. This is nothing more than little children acting out against Donald Trump because they simply don't like Donald Trump. None of this. Why didn't they call for the removal of all these statues and monuments under Obama? Why didn't they call for it then? You know, we were supposed to see a bunch of all of these anti-black and white supremacist groups protesting and marching all the time if Obama got elected. In 8 years, they didn't do a lot of it, did they? In fact, it was the so-called, Occupy Wall Street and Black Lives Matter that created all the controversy, chaos, and damage. It wasn't any white supremacist groups. Just saying. The facts are the facts. Can't change them. You can try to cover them up, but you can't change them. And the facts are that you people on the left are far more racist and dangerous and deadly and destructive than those on the right. And you've proven it time and time again. And you guys are also deranged in the brain. I mean, seriously. Well, if you don't believe me, here's something else here. New York City schools. Well, I got this other story here that I found fascinating. It goes along with today being mail catalog day. Yeah, remember today is we're celebrating mail order day, right? In this day and age, I mean, who gets catalogs? I mean, well, they still send them out, evidently. Well, millennials are financing everything from bed sheets to concert tickets. You can now finance every small item for your home and social life, but should you, so says, or ask the question from Market Watch, this Market Watch piece, you could have done that. You've been able to do that for a long time now. Anybody remember Fingerhut? I mean, the Fingerhut catalog was just made up of everything in there that you could possibly use for your house, for your household, and you could have payments on it. It was overpriced crap, but you could still, you got credit. They gave you instant credit. So now you can get better stuff. Millennials want luxury sheets, Peloton exercise bikes, and music festival tickets, but they don't always have enough cash or a desire to put them on a credit card, so they are turning to an even more expensive method of payment, financing. In recent years, payment companies, including PayPal, Affirm, and Bread, have created installment plans for retailers that give customers the option to finance the weirdest purchases over time. These payment methods have taken hold at a time when millennials have been more reluctant than their parents to use credit cards. Millennials had about 2 credit cards on each on average last year, according to the credit reporting company Experian. That's compared with about 3 for boomers and an average of 2.5 for members of Generation X. Now they don't have to wait to be able to afford it. They can just go ahead and finance it. So they don't want to use credit cards, millennials, for whatever reason. So they'll go for higher interest rate financing. So no, we don't like credit cards, man. But we'll finance this stuff, man, because financing is it's not cheaper, it's more expensive. But it's better. Financing's better for the environment because it doesn't take a credit card. No plastic is used.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
603-835-3226. That is the number to call should you wish to join me here live on the program. You still have some time. Now back to this whole idea about financing. What millennials are doing. They don't have the money to even buy music festival concert. How expensive are festival or concert tickets? So you got to spend a couple hundred, what is it, 60, 700? I don't know. I don't go to music festivals. What are they, $100? So you need 2 tickets, $200. You're going to finance $200 worth of tickets? Now, these payments have taken hold at a time when millennials have been more reluctant than their parents to use credit cards. Millennials had about 2 credit cards versus their parents who had 3, versus Generation X, my generation, who had 2.5. I don't know how you have a half a credit card, but okay. That's on average. Now, the company Brooklinen sells pricey sheets. Its classic sheet set for a queen-size bed costs $129, but that can be steep for millennials. That's $129 is pricey. They want to pay more, they want to upgrade, but they don't necessarily have the means to do that. What's more, the company also sells to city dwellers who are looking for just a few sets of sheets to outfit a one-bedroom or studio apartment. He said they're willing to invest in higher quality sheets, he said, even when they don't have the money up front. So I don't have $129. I have a credit card, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to go the finance route, which is going to end up costing me more money than really. I don't get it. Well, just other than the fact that millennials just they're not brainy people, obviously. I just speaking of brainy people. Evidently, this is from out of Portland, Maine, not Portland, Oregon. Portland, Maine, a group of bottled water drinkers has brought a class action lawsuit against the company behind Poland Spring Water, alleging that the Maine business has long deceived consumers by mislabeling common groundwater. The lawsuit was filed in a Connecticut federal court on Tuesday and accuses Nestle Waters North America, Inc. of a colossal fraud perpetrated against American consumers. The civil suit was brought by 11 people from the Northeast who collectively spent thousands of dollars on Poland Spring brand water in recent years. It is seeking millions of dollars in damages for a nationwide class and appears to hinge on whether the sources of Poland spring water met the Food and Drug Administration's definition of a spring. The suit comes as the company, a subsidiary of Swiss food giant Nestle, is looking to expand its operations in Maine. There was all kinds of controversy going on. One of the controversies was Poland Spring actually selling out to Nestle, and then Nestle doing a number of things in the state of Maine that locals just don't like. In a statement, Nestle Waters spokesperson said that its water meets all relevant federal and state regulations on the classification and collection of spring water. If you buy, whoever would have thought in the past that it would get to the point where bottled water would be the equivalent, or even in some cases more expensive than processed sweetened water like soda. We've gotten to that point, folks. We've gotten to that juncture where some bottled waters are more expensive than soda. Pepsi, Coke, all that kind of stuff. We're told, and it's cheaper for them to bottle the water than it is to make and bottle the soda. So it isn't because it's just highly profitable, because we've been convinced that non-bottled water is not good for you. Just saying. Even in New York City supposedly has the best municipal water on the planet. But people still buy tons and tons of bottled water because they're convinced that water from the tap is poison. Well, these water companies are the ones that have convinced people of that, by the way. Nobody else. Seriously. It's the water companies, like Nestle.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
Welcome back. Hey, this is the weekend now that's coming up because today is Friday. It is the weekend, and traditionally on the weekend, people do what? They like to go to the theater, the movies, if you will. Well, there's a service out there that's kind of like Netflix like service. Now, I didn't even know about this. I didn't know this is what this was. I think I've seen it. I've seen the name Movie Pass around a few times, but I didn't know what it was, and I didn't bother to learn. It was like $40 a month or something for them. Like, what? But Netflix co-founders a crazy plan to pay $10 a month to go to the movies all you want. Now, MoviePass wants to subsidize your film habit, letting you go to the theater once a day for about the price of a single ticket. Now, I do this for $9.95, $10 a month. Well, why? Well, I don't know. Actually, I probably would lose because I don't go to the movies very often because there's really not a whole hell of a lot out there I want to see. Can you? This is the problem with this is why Hollywood is their sales are down because nobody wants to go to the theaters to see the garbage. They should jump on this. Basically, what this is all about is as I've said, movie theaters are struggling with tepid sales. Mitch Lowe, who is an early Netflix Incorporated executive, has an extreme proposal for how to get more people into theater seats. Let them come to all the showings they want for about the price of a single ticket each month. He's now running a startup called MoviePass and plans to drop the price of the company's movie ticket subscription to $9.95 a month. The fee will let customers get into one showing every single day at any theater in the USA that accepts debit cards. Now, MoviePass will pay theaters the full price of each ticket used by the subscriber, excluding 3D or IMAX screens. So, regular movie theater. You go into, I guess you're going to get a MoviePass credit card, debit card, whatever thing. And if the theater ticket is like $12, they'll pay the theater $12 for the ticket. So yeah, I know you're only paying $10 a month. Well, in some places, just for a regular ticket, not to even IMAX, but a regular ticket is almost $15. So I mean, you would think that this is probably a bad thing. Now, people are also speculating. Those in the know are saying that MoviePass could lose a lot of money subsidizing people's movie habits. So the company also has raised cash by selling a majority stake to Helios and Matheson Analytics, Inc., a small publicly traded data firm in New York. The company declined to comment on the terms of the financing, but said that MoviePass intends to hold an initial public offering by March, and Helios and Matheson shares rose 5.7% to $2.95 at the close of Tuesday in New York. Now, what they're thinking is that they're going to be able to sell a lot of that data that they're going to be gathering off of their own subscribers, and the movies that they go to, why they go to them, how often they go to, blah 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 blah. They could sell that stuff and make a mint off it. Now, theater operators should certainly welcome any effort to increase sales. The top 4 cinema operators, led by AMC Entertainment Holdings, lost $1.3 billion in market value earlier this month after disappointing the summer numbers. The number of tickets sold in the U.S. and Canada last year declined slightly, while box office revenue rose 2% because they charge more per ticket, thanks to pricier tickets. That's why that happened. Now, according to the Motion Picture Association of America, the cost of a ticket has almost doubled in the last 2 decades. According to the website Box Office Mojo, the average price is about $9 this year, though it can be much higher in some cities. So there you have it. Jump on board. If this is the case now, jump on board Movie Pass. Just go to the movies twice in a month, and you will have paid for your monthly subscription. Now, if you don't normally go to the movies a lot, then this may not be a good deal for. I may just do it just simply because. One of the reasons why I don't go to the movies is I'm not paying, $10, $12, $15 a movie for a bad movie. But hey, if it's like Netflix, when I joined Netflix back in the day when DVDs were the big thing, and I would rent a DVD from Netflix. I'd get 3 at a time. I had the service, we got 3 at a time, and I'd get 3 at a time, and I would risk getting a bad movie because it was so cheap to do. It was less than $10 a month for $7 or $8 a month for 3 movies at a time or something like that. So even if if you timed it right, you had them, and I would play the game with it. I always had no more than 2 in house because I'd watch one. Another would be in reserve, and the third one would be on the way back to Netflix, which means they'd be turning it around. So by the time I sent, let me explain it. 1, 2, and 3. So I'd watch number 1. I'd send number 1 in. And the next night I'd watch number 2, and then I'd send in number 2, but number 1 was on the way back to me. And then I'd have number 3. So I'd watch number 3, and by the time I sent number 3 in, I'd have number 1, and number 2 would be on the way back to me. So I'd have and the way the mail moved at that time, you could probably have 5 movies in a week with 3 at a time. You couldn't for $8 or $9 a month at the rate. What was it, like $3 and $4 for a rental at Blockbuster? You couldn't rent that, so you didn't want to rent some movies. So I was willing to, I broadened my horizon a little bit, and I got some pretty bad movies, and some that I thought were going to be bad that were actually okay during that whole time period. And then, of course, Netflix went to streaming and digital, and I made the switch too. Still the same thing. I mean, if you want to waste your time, you can flick through a bunch of crap on Netflix. A lot of good stuff, but a lot of crap too. So you have the opportunity. What is it? It's still like $8 or $9 a month. Watch as much as you want. You don't got to send anything back. So this is a good idea. If they have a way to make money off of this, okay, I'll spend the $9 a month then, the $10 a month to go to the. Because all I got to do is go to there's got to be Hollywood has got to be able to make at least 2 halfway decent movies that I could possibly be interested in seeing every month. Even if it's just one. I think the average price around my area is like $12 for a ticket. So I'm saving $2 right off the bat. So it's probably not a bad idea. So before you head out to the movies this weekend, see if you can get a hold of a Netflix-like movie pass. Might save yourself some money. I just got this story in. Atlanta's Peace Monument was the target of so-called peaceful demonstrators. Atlanta's Peace Monument was defaced Sunday night during a Charlottesville protest. The historic Peace Monument in Piedmont Park was defaced Sunday night at the end of a long march that organized to protest violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, this is Atlanta, Georgia, by the way. The protest began in downtown's Woodruff Park and stretched over a couple of hours into Midtown. Now, Atlanta police cleared the way for them to march peacefully. He said protester Veronica Boykin said, "We're trying to keep it nonviolent. That's the goal." But when the march reached the statue in Piedmont Park, several demonstrators climbed onto the monument and defaced it with red spray paint. A chain was also thrown around the monument as several protesters chanted, "Tear it down, tear it down." Now, the statue was commissioned in 1911 to symbolize efforts of reconciliation between the North and the South after the Civil War, according to the state of Georgia. The monument was funded by the Old Guard Battalion of the Gate City Guard, which traces its heritage to 1854, when a group of private citizens formed a private militia to help keep city law and order. According to some protesters, it was a symbol of the Old South or the Confederacy. But it's not. It's a symbol of trying to reintegrate into peace and reconciliation between North and South. So these people don't even know, again, they don't even know what they're doing. So this is why none of this stuff is about actual history. It's all about their feelings. Well, it looks like it could be a symbol of the Confederacy, so tear it down. But it's not. It was a symbol of unity, of peace and unity. But it's ironic they want to tear down a symbol of peace and unity. Isn't it? Don't you find that ironic? I find it ironic that they want to tear down a symbol of peace and unity. Because they're all about peace and unity, after all, right? You know, and Antifa and Black Lives Matter and all those other wonderful leftist groups are all about peace and unity. So it's kind of ironic they just want to tear something down that's also a symbol of peace and unity. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up, folks. I mean, just so unbelievable what they claim. By the way, to go along with the I guess this is why the feds are able to spend $500,000 or $400,000 on studying why LGBTQ. I keep saying I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. I am not going to go through all of that crap every single time. LGB. That's what it originally was. LGB. Lesbian, gay, bi. That's it. Not getting into... Well, Rod, that's not politically correct. Well, I don't give a rip. I'm not doing this crap anymore. So you got $400,000 being given to this group of scientists to study why LGB people seem to drink more than other people, straight people. Well, maybe they're getting this money because the feds collected a record amount of income and payroll taxes through July. Yes, indeed. The federal government collected record amounts of both individual income taxes and payroll taxes through the first 10 months of fiscal 2017, which was October 1st, 2016 through the end of July. Now, through July, the federal government collected approximately $1.3 trillion in individual income taxes. At the same time, it collected another $976 billion in Social Security and other payroll taxes. Prior to this year, fiscal 2015 held the record. So, over $2 trillion. But we're still spending more than the government is collecting. So that's why we have a deficit, and that's why we have a debt. The deficit, I love how they say the deficit is down. Well, the deficit hasn't been eliminated. So that means, instead of going into hock, let's say $100 billion, let's say instead of going into hock $1 trillion this year, we're only going to go into hock $900 billion. Because, the deficit's down. What a joke that this whole thing is about deficits. Don't let that stuff fool you. Don't let that stuff fool you. I mean, it's stupid at best. We're not done yet. We'll be back to wrap it up.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hayrite.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And finally, today, we've got something out of New York City. Now, you may not believe this, but they're instituting some sort of bullying detectors. Yes, and vape detectors in schools. Yes. According to Fox 5 New York, out of New York City, smoking and vaping are banned in all New York schools. Now schools are testing a technology that can smoke out offenders. The new technology inside a little box may play a big role in holding students who break the law accountable. If we get a spike above the line, then we know if there is an incident occurring. Digital Fly CEO Derek Peterson said of his devices, and we notify the officials. Now, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo in July banned the use of e-cigarettes in all public and private school grounds. Yeah, he controls the private schools now, too. If you use a vape pen on school property, school officials can find out now. If someone is inside a bathroom and they vape, it will contaminate the air. Our sensors will pick it up and will alert somebody in real time. Yes, a device called FlySense can detect gas and moisture in the air, indicating vaping is taking place. A spike in the data means something is suspicious, and the device is then sends an alert to a cell phone. The device has another sensor to track peaks in sound levels to also determine if bullying or fighting is possibly happening. Yes. So now we're going to be able to detect bullying because all bullies yell, obviously. Peterson said the technology measures what a normal bathroom sounds like with running water, normal chatter, and more, and then picks up the anomalies. So this is for the bathroom now. If bullying takes place in the like bullying doesn't take place out in the hallway, just in the bathroom. The New York State Department of Health found that e-cigarette use by high school students nearly doubled in the last 2 years, from 10.5% in 2014 to 20.6% last year. So several school districts will start testing the technology next month in order to prevent teens from vaping. Now, I thought this vaping thing was a great alternative. It's nothing but water vapor and flavoring, right? So it just, it wasn't, some of it has nicotine in it, I guess. But somehow this vaping stuff has gotten the eye. You know why it's gotten the ire of politicians? Because somebody in the private sector found a way around overregulation. Not to mention, vaping is not taxed like tobacco. Vaping products are not taxed like tobacco, so there's also tax. You find a way around government, and they are going to come after you and hate you with a vengeance. Seriously. They're just not going to love you very much. And they don't care if it's healthier for people or not. If you're trying to get people to quit cigarettes and go to vaping, but they're not taxing vaping and they haven't regulated vaping, they're going to say, they're going to falsely say that it's just as harmful, man. I've seen that and I've heard it. Vaping is just as harmful, man, as smoking real cigarettes. Yeah, I know. What the hell is freedom for if you can't practice it, right? Freedom should be free from regulation, over-regulation. That's what freedom's all about. But anyway, you know what? Why even bother with all that stuff? Why smoke anymore? Why smoke cigarettes? You're only giving the government money. So if you don't want to give the government money, you might as well just stop smoking. Don't pay the tax. That's what it really comes down to now. They tax everything so heavily and so high. So that's one way of controlling people. If they don't want you doing something, they're going to tax the hell out of it. And eventually you're going to get the idea, well, I'm not going to give the government any more of my tax money. Any more tax money than I have to. So then you're going to stop doing it. Right? That's what you like to think. Well, maybe you should switch to vaping. I don't know. You know what a better idea is? Go get a movie pass and go out to the movies tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. And there you'll have paid for it already. Until then, everyone have a great Friday afternoon in spite of the rain here in northern New England. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday, of course. That's more than 21 hours. So I know we'll try to be nice and hopefully no more rioting in the meantime. I'm Rod Eccles. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.